What's good? It's your boy Jay. That's me. Let's jump into TNA Impact from April the 18th, 2024. This was the go-home show to this Saturday's Rebellion, and we will go over the predictions for Rebellion. So we kick the show off with the first match of the night, which was Alexander Hammerstone versus Guido. Hammerstone defeated Guido via the torture rack, and Josh Alexander was on commentary. He didn't say anything of note. He was just there. Post-match, both guys stared down each other, and that was it. Who gives a damn? Kind of a waste of time. I wish they would have had another little pull-apart brawl, but it is what it is. Moving on. So Ash by Elegance, she may not be able to compete for the Knockouts World Championship at Rebellion. So her personal concierge reveals that she's going to be at ringside for the match between Jordynne Grace and Steph the Lander. Ash's personal concierge says that Ash will be waiting on the other side for her title opportunity. So Zaya Brookside, she interrupts. And then Brookside reveals to Ash that she's going to be taking on her next week. It's going to be a rematch. And I'm like, okay, this is cool. It's pretty cool. So it's kind of funny how Ash and her personal concierge was kind of like playing it off, kind of like trying to get out of it and everything else. So that was pretty cool. Really good stuff there. I like what they're doing with with Ash by Elegance, aka Dana Brooke. I like what they're doing with her, for sure. Again, my theory is they'll probably build her up until Slammiversary, and then she'll probably defeat Jordynne Grace at Slammiversary. Moving on. So, speaking of Jordynne Grace, she had a little message. She told everyone via video chat or whatever that Macardona, he's injured, basically. He's not going to be able to accompany Steph the Lander at Rebellion. So, Jordynne Grace knows that Steph will have a trick up her sleeve, but she's going to also have someone in her corner as well. So that should be interesting. Moving on. So Joe Hendry defeats a jobber by the name of LSG. I have no idea who that is. So, and then Joe Hendry did his usual shtick of poking fun of AJ Francis and Rich Swann. He called AJ Francis top dollar, which was kind of funny. So I enjoyed that. It's kind of a little pop for me. Moving on. So Diener, his worthless ass was on this show. He said he asked the fans if he and Jake something should go 2-on-3 against Mustafa Ali and the Grizzled Young Veterans, or the Grizzled Young Vets. Or if they should or if they should team with someone who has a bone to pick with Mustafa Ali. So Rhino comes out, and I immediately don't give a fuck about this match. Didn't even watch it. So thankfully, Mustafa Ali gets the win. He wins via the 450 splash. He pinned Diener. Again, my problem with TNA, can we please get rid of Rhino and PCO, Diener, and so many others? Can we please get rid of these guys? Please. Frankie Kazarian, Eric Young, Eddie Edwards, Brian Myers, Moose. That's the problem with TNA. Moving on. Steve Maclin was on the show, and he talked about how he's going to make his presence felt and known at Rebellion. And he basically went over his resume so far of 2024, that he's beaten Kevin Knight and Chris Sabin, among countless others. That's all he said. So, okay, I mean, does that really matter? No. It seems like Maclin has been directionless, but I see where they're going with this. I would assume that Steve Maclin is going to be probably one of the first guys that Nic Nemeth feuds with. So I think that could be pretty cool. And they do have history. Moving on, I wanted to burn my television. Eric Young appeared. He talked about how he needed to channel the sickness. He needs to reach into his past at Rebellion when he takes on Frankie Kazarian in Full Metal Mayhem. Who gives a single fuck about this shit? Please, TNA, get Frankie Kazarian and Eric Young off my television. They suck. This isn't 2009 anymore. Please let these guys go. Let these guys go and be backstage producers. Please. Moving on, Rosemary defeated Dani Luna via the spear. It sucks that Subculture didn't stick around for TNA too long, and I don't know why. I don't even know where they're at. My guess is they might be in MLW or maybe doing something on the indie circuit, or they could be maybe in Ring of Honor. They might even be showing up at Dynasty, at AEW Dynasty on Sunday. So that could be a possibility, but I doubt it. But they're probably just doing stuff on the indies. But it's crazy that Subculture didn't stick around but for a couple months. They were good. So, I don't know. Moving on, we get the third installment of Jonathan Gresham, Part 3. So he's ashamed that he's gone unheard for years. He's open and vulnerable. And it was humiliating, but it doesn't have to be. Okay, this is interesting. I wonder if he'll be at Rebellion. I would imagine so. We've gotten this for 3 straight weeks, and this has been good. It seems like he's going to be having a hero role, basically, it seems like. I wonder if he's going to be adding more people with him. Like they're going to build a new version of the Foundation. I think that could kick ass. And I'm really excited to see what comes of Jonathan Gresham. And it seems like he has a character and a gimmick down. So these vignettes have been beautifully done. And I can't wait to see what's next. So hopefully he will appear at Rebellion. Moving on, main event of the evening, wrestling-wise. Brian Myers and Eddie Edwards, a.k.a. The System, they defeated the Motor City Machine Guns, Alex Shelley, Chris Sabin, to retain the TNA World Tag Team Championships. This match was long as hell, and I didn't even watch it. I did watch it, but I had it on, not mute, but I had it on really low volume. I didn't care about any of this. So, the System, they retained via the roster cut into the Boston Knee Party for 1, 2, 3. Who gives a shit? We all know that the Motor City Machine Guns will more than likely show up at AEW Dynasty on Sunday, more than likely. It's almost a guarantee. This sucks. This really does suck. What do you do now that the Motor City Machine Guns are no longer in TNA? Who fills that void? I have no idea. Your guess is as good as mine. I really don't know. I can't think of anybody. Can't think of any teams. Moving on. So we closed the show with Nic Nemeth. He comes out. He tries to cut a promo, but it's interrupted by Moose. So Moose tells Nic Nemeth that throughout his entire career, he's never been able to beat, quote, unquote, the system. So Nic Nemeth fires back and says that everyone will see him. Would love to see him become the new TNA World Heavyweight Champion at Rebellion. And he's here to stay in TNA. So Moose calls Nic Nemeth a choke artist. Nic Nemeth admits that he doubted himself in the past, but right now, he's the best he's ever been. And he tells Moose that at Rebellion, he's not getting Dolph Ziggler, he's getting Nic Nemeth. And Nic Nemeth vows to walk out of the Palms with the TNA World Heavyweight Championship. And then they stare each other down, and that was it. So this is fine, I guess. I wish they would have gotten to a little brawl, but it is what it is. So the show itself was lackluster. The go-home show was lackluster, but it's TNA. It's TNA. I think we're going to be headed into a new era. I really do. I don't see Moose retaining. I do think that we're going to be entering into the era of Anthony Sazzone, the new president. I think we're going to see his vision shine on this show at Rebellion. Let's go ahead and get into predictions. We have, for whatever reason, 10 matches on the card for whatever reason. We've got, I think, 2 matches that are going to be taking place on the pre-show. So it's going to be a 6-man tag. Leon Slater and ABC, which is Chris Bay and Ace Austin versus the Rascals, which is Trey Miguel, Zachary Wentz, and Myron Reed. Hopefully this will be on the main card, but I'm hoping that the Rascals get the win. Leon Slater is pretty cool. He's pretty good. Moving on, Danny Luna and Jody Threat, which is Spitfire, versus Havoc and Rosemary, a.k.a. Decay, for the TNA Knockouts World Tag Team Championships. Spitfire's going to retain. Why not? They just won them, like, literally last month, so why would they drop them right back to Decay? Unless they're going to start a feud. Moving on, Crazy Steve versus Laredo Kid for the TNA Digital Media Championship. Laredo Kid's probably going to get his moment finally. He'll definitely get his moment. Crazy Steve, to me, is kind of boring. That's just being honest. Moving on, a match that I don't give a single fuck about. That's Frankie Kazarian versus Eric Young, Full Metal Mayhem. I don't give a shit who wins. Who cares? If I had to pick, probably Eric Young. Moving on, another match I don't really care about because I feel bad for Joe Hendry. That's Joe Hendry versus Rich Swann with AJ Francis. Joe Hendry needs to get the win. Moving on, Jake Something versus Mustafa Ali for the TNA X Division Championship. Mustafa Ali is going to retain. This should lead into a feud. Maybe Steve Maclin might get involved. I don't know. Moving on, Jordan Grace versus Step DeLander. TNA Knockouts World Championship. Jordan Grace is going to retain. Like, why not? Like, that's a no-brainer. The System, Eddie Edwards and Brian Myers versus Speedball Mountain, which is Mike Bailey and Trent Seven. The System, they're going to retain the TNA World Tag Team Championships. A match that I'm looking forward to, Josh Alexander, Hammerstone 3, Last Man Standing. Hammerstone needs the win. Hammerstone needs the win because I do think that what they could do is either by Slammiversary or at Bound for Glory, you could do Nic Nemeth versus Hammerstone, and that could kick ass and that could rule. So that's probably what they're going to go with all this. Main event, Nic Nemeth versus Moose for the TNA World Championship. Nic Nemeth's going to win. I think it's time to start a brand new era for TNA. I think post-match, Steve Maclin's going to come out and have a little fight with Nic Nemeth, starting their feud. So that's probably that's probably how it's going to all go down, more than likely. But those are my predictions. The show was okay. TNA right now is in a standstill. They've not really done much of anything for the past 2 to 3 months. They've just been at a standstill. And hopefully Rebellion can kick off a brand new era for the promotion. But we'll see. Like, comment, and subscribe. Peace.